share of their lives. Okay, yeah, show for one.
We're going to feel very privileged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is.
Okay, so hello and welcome to our
Can you just
event. Yep, sorry.
Can you just? I mean, can you hear all of us? And can you work out who's actually there?
Yeah, we have. It's working better now, so I think we're ready to go.
Oh, great.
Are we live?
Yep. Yes, we are.
Okay.
All right.
So hello and welcome to our Footprint Facts event 2021. Coincidentally, it's on Green Weekday, so it's a great day to be doing this. And the whole aim of this event is to show the innovation of students over lockdown and how the passion for climate change can result in some quite interesting videos. So we're doing this on behalf of Footprint Facts, and we'd like to invite 3 key judges who will be judging our 3 finalist videos. So I'd first like to introduce Johan to start.
Hi, well, thank you for having me here. And it was really, really fun to see those videos. They were all really amazing. I'm looking forward to talking about them later. So I'm a co-founder of Geeky Social Enterprise, and Geeky stands for Get Informed, Know Your Impact. And our aim simply is to help people live more sustainably. And we do that through providing digital tools and all sorts of ongoing support and information around our personal impacts on the environment. So through Geeky Zero, you can actually go, it's what's called a web app. So it works on your phone or on a browser or on a tablet. And you go in and you can get a really good understanding of your carbon footprint. We think it's the most detailed science-based carbon calculator that's available for individuals. And we cover everything from what we eat, our homes, how we get about, but we also look at what we call financial services. So that means, who we bank with, for older people, who their pension, the impact of their pension, that kind of thing. And if you're a dog owner, we've carbon footprinted every breed of dog. So that's quite a fun, but that's one of my favorite bits. And so it enables you to understand what your carbon footprint looks like and then work out what you can actually do about it. So I think for so many people, we want to do the right thing when it comes to the environment and climate change, but it's actually really hard to know what right looks like. And it's really hard to weigh up the multitude of different decisions that we make every day and understand what their actual environmental impacts are. So we want to make that much easier and really break down this really complicated, complex issue into accessible and actionable information that's actually personalized, because what's right for one person might not work at all for somebody else. So, if you live in the center of a town in a small flat, your life looks very different if you live in the middle of the country in a rural area where you need a car and there's it's drafty and all sorts of other challenges around carbon emissions and seeping of waste heat, etc. So it's all about working out what's right for you. So that, in a nutshell, is what we do at Geeky. It's completely free, and we just want to help as many people as possible reduce their carbon footprint. And I think it's so inspiring that lockdown has brought all of these wonderful videos to life. And I take my hat off to your generation, because thank goodness somebody is speaking out so loudly about what we need to do, because we've only got 10 years to really get on top of things. So I think the pressure from the younger generation is crucial in really building momentum around what we need to do. So it was great to see such inspiring films.
Thank you, Drew, for that. We'd like to introduce our next judge now, Stuart Neveson.
Well, no, thank you very much, Alex and Alex. I'd say echo Joe's comments completely. It was an absolute joy to watch the videos that were produced. They were, absolutely fantastic. Like the quality of all of them was absolutely fantastic. And I'm basically from a charity called the Climate Coalition, which is just a big load of organizations who've come together to try and sort of pool their resources and sort of pool their voices to try and be as loud and as impactful as possible. So we have members from groups you might know, like Oxfam and the Woodland Trust and WWF and Greenpeace. right down to kind of some amazing kind of community members who are doing amazing stuff in their local networks, like in Bradford or in Kingston, all these kind of different places, and all kind of sort of bring these all together, and actually including Joe Hand here, who's actually one of our members as well, and to try to bring all these groups together to try and sort of have, a shared voice that sort of goes to government and sort of is as loud and sort of impossible to ignore as possible. I think that the pitch is kind of like the Avengers of climate change. Okay, we try and bring all these superheroes, all these different organizations together to try and make sure that our politicians hear our voices and trying to get people to have those conversations with their MPs and really try and bring about the change that we really need to happen. And just to echo Joe's comments again, that these videos and the work you're doing is absolutely fantastic, and it's so important to kind of raising awareness and bringing attention, particularly some of the videos talked on things like COP26, which is happening in Glasgow at the end of the year, the big UN climate summit, and things like that are so important. It's so crucial that word gets about this all across the UK. So just to see some of the amazing work you're doing here at your school is just fantastic. And hats off to all of you.
Great, thank you for that, Stuart. And we'd like to invite our last judge, Darren. Please tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi. It's Earth Day today, and I just shared with a couple of folk in a meeting I was just in that I was about to jump on and meet up with everyone here to celebrate these 3 films that have been made. I mean, they are absolutely brilliant. We make films, Sea Level. We make films called 101 Visions, and the idea is to do micro documentaries about climate change and about other kind of visionary regenerative projects. So they're always aimed at being 1.5 minutes long. So it's a real joy to get a chance to look at what's been done here. And the whole point of us being storytellers is a means to an end. And the real purpose of Sea Level, the business that I run and founded 20 years ago, is to help everybody understand the carbon footprint. We actually coined the phrase carbon footprint when we launched the business. And then, as well as doing that kind of number crunching, to have a really integrated approach and connect people to the world's most inspirational regenerative projects that can deliver carbon benefits. So, for example, the Sevenoaks School, I mean, probably the reason that I've been invited in is because we've already done stuff with Sevenoaks School. They were flying on a kind of geography field trip to Mexico, to Chiapas, and they were looking at what they could do. They were fundraising, everyone who was traveling was fundraising at the school to carbon balance their flights. So, we have the world's original carbon offsetting project in our current portfolio. It's called Skolelte, the tree that grows, and it's in Chiapas. It's an indigenous reforestation project that really has led to this whole idea of balancing emissions. And these are the kind of projects, they're all nature-based solutions that we work with. They're all about creating agency within communities. So carbon balancing, action on carbon, action on forests with communities, and using storytelling to try and support those projects, help those projects get out there to do more and more action on carbon and climate change. So real pleasure to be watching these films on Earth Day, and I hope we get a chance to talk in more detail about them, but otherwise that's enough about me.
Great, thank you. So here are the 3 judges who will be looking over the 3 videos, and I think it's time to start presenting them. So we're going to share them in no particular order, and we'd like to thank everyone who did participate for all of their effort, because we can see that there's clearly been a lot of effort made towards creating all of these videos. So I'd like to thank all the students who put some effort into it.
So we've had a few technical difficulties, and for that reason, we're going to start by pasting the link to watch the videos into the chat. And so we'd like you to watch the first video, and then we'll hear from the judges what they thought of it. So the first video I'm going to paste is How COVID-19 Impacted Climate Change by Josie Lee. If you bear with me 1 second to get the link. I'm just going to send this around the group, so please watch this once you get the link. So hoping everybody's watched the video, I'd quite like to ask Johanne to give her comments on the first video by Josie Lee.
Well, to start with, I loved the illustrations. Josie's a great drawer. So that was the first thing I thought was really excellent. And I also loved the connection. I felt that there was a really interestingly structured argument in there, and structuring a well thought out argument in film is not easy. And actually it's a medium that is quite challenging to get complex issues conveyed in. So I think that Josie did a great job in managing to tie in COVID and climate. And I thought that I loved the sort of stop animation in there as well that she'd had with all the greenhouse gases moving across the screen. So I thought it felt genuinely really original and a really nicely structured argument with great illustrations.
Yeah, and I would echo those thoughts completely. I think you've pretty much said all the things I want to say. Just the drawing style was absolutely wonderful. It was so like just pleasing on the eye to watch. Obviously clearly just a really talented artist. It was great having the whole narrative going through the process of touching all the things that Joe mentioned, as well as obviously bringing in COP26 as well, which is so crucial and feels so important. You mentioned this year because it really does for such a key event. And I had lots of information and kind of some interesting facts that I didn't know about. And so it felt like I definitely took something away from it. So yeah, it was a really great video.
Yeah, I
and finally,
I loved the animation, and also I thought it had a really good pace. It's often difficult with doing short films to, people tend to kind of try and accelerate everything and kind of cram a lot into a small space. So it had breathing space. I thought the pace was really good, and I just thought, the quality of the insights that were delivered and left with me as a viewer, being close to some of this stuff on a kind of, on a daily basis. The Brazilian deforestation stats really kind of stood out. The linkage between COVID, the global picture, with current facts to do with COVID and the global picture. And of course, I mean, what resonated for me really was this whole thing, and we've blogged on this on the Sea Level website. It's like, okay, pandemic, lots of things getting trashed, lots of stress, bad picture. But there's no question in my mind. I spend a lot of time talking to companies who want to talk about sustainable travel, for example. I've been on a webinar this afternoon about that. And, but the question is there such a thing as sustainable travel? And the great pause, which is what has happened over the last year, is a great pause for thought and for build back better. I mean, whatever the term is, this is the point of culture change. This is the point of really making some radical shifts and also being deformalized in an extent the connections between people, the ability of people to be really honest with each other. I'm talking about in business really here, but there's a lot of, and that film really kind of touched me because of that linkage between what's happening with the big picture and COVID, which is also a big picture, but it's a small picture in a way as well. Loved it.
Thank you so much for your comments. I think we're now going to move on to the second video, which is by Anastasia. And I've just sent the link around to everyone in the group. So if you could now please watch that video in your own time. Hopefully you've had time to watch that video. I'd just like to say, if anybody is having trouble watching the video, these will all be available on YouTube after this event for people to go and watch in hindsight. But having watched the video, Stuart, would you like to give us your comments?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I love this video. I actually sometimes usually have some reservations about videos that about plastic and kind of the issue of climate change. I think sometimes they're kind of used interchangeably. It's kind of they're the same sort of issue, and generally, obviously, plastic in the ocean stuff is a huge issue, but it's not necessarily the problem that's happening, the issue that's happening, things that are going wrong with our climate. And so when it started, I had a reservation about kind of those links, but I thought the video did such a fantastic job of not only talking about plastic, but then linking plastic's impacts back to the climate, to the production behind it, and really the presentation style they used to do that was so unique and so well filmed and so well designed. It made fantastic use of, had some amazing creative backdrops. The costume changes were wonderful. There's some excellent use of props and things like that. Anastasia herself was, a really great presenter. Spoke really confidently, spoke well. The scripts are fantastic, and I thought, the use of that plastic fanatic character was fantastic. It was actually really funny. I really enjoyed the kind of impressions she was doing of people and the alternative ways that we could discuss what people are approached to when they've asked if they want a plastic bag or not. And I also kind of learned a lot of new things about kind of just how bad paper bags are in comparison. I think I had a kind of inkling they weren't great either, but this film really kind of crystallized some great facts that kind of underpinned why they're definitely not the solution either. So yeah, absolutely, wonderful film.
Thank you, Darren.
Yeah, I can't really add a great deal to that. I think this was my favorite film. It was really close call, but it was really engaging and playful at the same time. So the confidence that came, I mean, it's obviously very different because, you know, it's presented a very different approach to the film, to filmmaking. But yeah, I thought the quality of the production, the wit, the confidence, the engagement, and a lot of good info. I you know, linking it with climate change, it was you know, the weaker of the three films, but you know, a good job done nevertheless. And my lasting thought, I had two lasting thoughts. One is that I'd like to see a lot more happen. You know, I think it's, yeah, I mean, maybe this is, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think something should happen with all of these films moving forward. But yeah, the final thought was Seaspiracy, and you know, I'd love to see Anastasia actually, you know, give the same treatment to the fishing industry as opposed to plastic bags. You know, like really kind of bring that same approach to bear around the arguments that are marshaled in the Seaspiracy film, because yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, an obvious kind of next step in a way, and I think that could gain some traction. Great, absolutely loved it.
Thank you, Darren. And it's interesting you mentioned that you would like to do more with these videos, because as we're going to mention later, as part of the prize from coming to the final, we're welcoming all of these students to come and work with Footprint Facts and work with our team and potentially make more videos if they're interested in this offer. Anyway, I'd like to hand over to Jo for her comments.
Great.
Sorry, usual error of being on mute. I can't. I haven't got much to add to those. What Stuart and Darren have said, that was very, very covered everything. But I did just want to say I did particularly enjoy that part where instead of being issued a plastic bag, you issued what your plastic bag was really going to end up in. So, you know, plastic in the fish's stomach and that kind of thing. I just thought, what a wonderful magnifying glass that held on parts of the marketing industry. And I thought that was very fun and a really nice original approach. But yeah, really fun film and great presenting.
Thank you for your comments. I've just sent round the link to the final video to all participants. So if you could please watch that in your own time.
Okay, hopefully enough time to watch the third and final video. So, Darren, do you want to start with any comments you have on this?
Yeah, this one is so different, and it really, there was a point in it where it really kind of picked up for me, where it really got my attention. And what it was a felt response. It shifted my emotions in a completely different way to what happened with the other two films, and it was the film that really got across to me a feeling of grief and sadness. And it wasn't just because it was about, you know, cuddly animals or polar bears. I mean, the polar bear stuff at the beginning, it just really lost me. I thought, oh God, this is going to be terrible. But but actually, as I say, it picked up for me partway through, and it captured, you know, the tragedy, you know, the fact that we're in a mass extinction, the fact that there's this huge loss going on, and you know, if you follow the work of people like Joanna Macy and the work that reconnects, you know, this is the big challenge that we face, to actually get real and actually feel what's going on and feel the grief, feel the loss. And this, yeah, this video really was the only one that did that for me. So it was a very different kind of criteria against which to compare the three films, but a really important one, because this is, you know, this is what it's all about. If we don't feel it, then it's just a kind of academic or a kind of logical exercise that we're going through. We're trying to calculate the carbon footprint. We're trying to, you know, turn around the business or change our lifestyle. But, you know, only when we actually really kind of connect with nature and with the wild and feel what's going on, that's where we really can turn back to life and embrace life and make transformations effortlessly across all levels, more of a kind of mindset or culture change piece. So this film is really important on that front. Might not make it a winning film, I suppose, but it you know, yeah, really moved by it. Who's the maker of this film?
So this film was made by Lauren and Ari from Kent. So congratulations.
So she's not on the she's not on the call. She's not on the call.
Unfortunately not. Maybe the link didn't work for them, which is a pity. But I will send them an email afterwards congratulating them and the recording at the event.
Joe or Stuart, do you have any comments?
You're on mute, Stuart.
Yeah, Joe, I did it again. I was like, oh, Joe, I can't believe who makes that mistake still in this day and age. No, so yeah, like Dan said, it was such a different video to the others that makes all the contrast between the three of them. I mean, it's actually made it a really good viewing experience watching all three back to back, because you know they were all such different kind of videos that really kind of made it really interesting. Each one, you know, was inspiring in its own way, and I think this one, as Dan mentioned, you know, it really did capture that grief, and I'm definitely a sucker for feeling, you know, that sorrow. And you know, anytime a polar bear pops up, even though it is maybe a bit of cliched images today, I still get emotional because I can't not. It's still difficult to look past, and I thought it did a fantastic job of just kind of building on maybe, you know, the kind of the cliche of the polar bear, but then, you know, realizing actually this goes way further than just that kind of typical animal we think that's going to be lost because it's so obvious, because you know the melting ice, but actually going, you know, there's actually across the whole planet. And I thought, you know, that kind of fade to silence at the end with the kind of scrolling of the mobile phone and just kind of going this endless list of all the things that we're going to lose, all these kind of things that we just kind of take for granted in our life, was a really kind of powerful way to end the video. And you know, it definitely got such different emotions to the other two. But also, you know, I thought the editing, particularly in that midway point where it kind of picked up and it kind of started speeding through all those images, was, you know, not only just a great, you know, fantastic editing, but it really did kind of accentuate that kind of just how vast the scale of this is. And, you know, if you blink, you miss it. Like, you know, they're going so fast that, you know, you're not even going to notice they're going to be gone. But the scale of it is just, you know, almost impossible to comprehend. And, you know, and just kind of also the music choice was fantastic. I thought it did a really good job of matching kind of with the pacing of the video, and yeah, you know, it was really informative in a short space of time. So yeah, it was a really great video.
Yeah, I'd agree with all of that. I think you've done a perfect summary, and I think the work, yeah, the music and the imagery worked really well together. The editing was yeah, that was beautifully combined, and I also really like the simplicity of the message. It was just, you know, it hit you between the eyes again and again and again in a very emotional way, and that I think means it will stay with me, even though I think about those things, you know, all day every day for work. But I think seeing them and the simplicity of the way it was made, I actually really appreciated that. So I think, yeah, well done. It was great.
Well, thank you for all your comments. And it's great that to see all the effort put in by the students on just making such good quality videos. I'm very glad to have received them. So before we give the judges results and who won, I'm going to present briefly what Footprint Facts is and kind of why we are doing this. To do that,
Alex, sorry to interrupt you. Could you speak a bit louder? I'm struggling a little bit to hear you. Sorry.
Okay, sure. I'll speak louder. So, can you see my screen? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Any of the judges? Okay, good. So we started with a very simple question that kind of led down a rabbit hole to where we are now, which is the simple question of what is worse for the environment, eating meat for a year or taking a return trip from London to Berlin? And it seems like a pretty simple question, but we really had no idea, because we'd ask you, what do you think? Is it eating the meat or is it flying? If you know the answer, how much? Is it 5 times worse, 10 times worse, 100? Do we really have any idea at all? And this kind of question just got us thinking, how much do we really know about our own carbon footprint? Because we all know that eating meat and flying is bad for the environment, but we don't actually put it into perspective with any other actions, such as flying, or just any other lifestyle choice. So it's hard to decide what we want to do for the climate if we don't have this understanding. And this is where Footprint Facts this is our idea for Footprint Facts, which is to try and help people understand this. So 10.92 tons is the figure of carbon dioxide released every year by each UK citizen. And this is a huge amount. And we know that it's a massive problem going forwards. There's so much science and data going towards it. So our aim is, even if it's just a small change, is to help some people reduce their carbon footprint by understanding each of their actions.
So there's a few key ways we do this, and the most obvious is through our carbon footprint calculator. And we do a system where once you've calculated your carbon footprint, you can put in what you're willing and less willing to sacrifice. And therefore, our website will then be able to give you some advice on how you can most easily reduce your carbon footprint. And the impacts are only fairly small, but they're hopefully impacts that we believe every user will be able to make pretty easily because of the fact that they've told us about their lifestyle. We also write articles and reviews on the website where we share our own knowledge and our opinions on various aspects of climate change. And we hope that we can share our knowledge and perhaps inspire a few people through reading these articles. And finally, and possibly most importantly, what we do is we engage with other students, because being students ourselves, we know how hard it is to engage with climate change in a meaningful way and to be able to contribute to helping reduce the footprint of more people than ourselves. So not only do we work with students in our school to produce the content on our website, but we're also starting working with students from other schools. And those first students will be the 3 finalists of this competition if they're interested in taking part. We've seen how amazing they're able to produce these brilliant videos, and we'd love to welcome them to work further with Footprint Facts. Now, finally, we would like to come on to deciding the winner of the competition.
So it was a very close call between all 3 of the videos, really. And it's quite hard to choose a winner because of how different and distinct each of the videos are. And they're each incredible in their own aspect. But the winner for the 2021 Footprint Facts event is the first video that we showed, which is the impact of COVID on the climate change. So we'd like to thank Josie Lee for creating this video, and congratulations to her. We'll send we'll send details further about your prize and how we can receive it all. So thank you everyone for coming to this event. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed watching the videos, and hopefully it was inspiring to some. And yeah, that's all from us. Thank you
I'd
very
like to
much.
say thank you especially to the judges who came today and really made this event what it was. And thank you for all of your insights. I personally really enjoyed listening to it. So thank you very much.
Can I just chip in? I would be really interested to see what you intend to do with these films and with with the talent that's presented. So can you keep Sea Level informed on that? I'm going to share the films with my film team, and yeah, just see if there's anything that kind of resonates in terms of some of the work that we're doing and whether we can kind of help take it further. But yeah, it'd be great if that was the case.
Absolutely. We'd love to share this talent and the amazing videos as best as we can. And so whatever we can do to do that would be amazing.
Yeah, we need more climate change filmmakers, definitely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, keep up the good work.
Yes, we will do.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.